Hey guys, Nick again, Jemmy here, and welcome to Monday's Mindset and Manifestation. How is everybody doing today? If you're on the live, say hi, and if you're on the replay, hashtag replay. So I wanted to talk today about something that I feel like we often don't talk about, and because we think there's other things that are more important, but I want to talk about the B word, and that is believing in yourself. And I don't know if you noticed the sign just behind me. I put it there intentionally, but it's the first Christmas thing that I bought myself this season. And I love it because it kind of just looks like the Santa sleigh, and it's the word believe. So I don't know if you're seeing it backwards or if you can see it, but that's what it says, believe. And I love it. I love the color. I said I'm buying this for myself for Christmas. And for me, it's just a reminder to believe in yourself, because I think we all struggle with that, right? Let me know if you struggle with, excuse me, with believing in yourself. It's something for me that just comes up. And I think for everybody, because we're all human, right? And there's a lot of times where we just question, like, am I good enough? Do I deserve this? And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. And that's like, can we remove our worth and do we deserve from the equation? Like, why don't we just take that off the table? And what if that had nothing to do with anything? I mean, how much more would you go after? How much more would you accomplish if you just did something because you wanted to do it? Because it excited you, because it made you feel good, and you just took action moving forward. Just, there was no question of what if I fail? What if I don't know enough? What are people gonna think? I mean, who are people? Do you ever wonder that? Like, who are these people that we have in our mind that we're so afraid that if we put ourselves out there that we're gonna be rejected? I don't mean to diminish how you feel, because like I said, I feel the same way. And I think, you know, as a human being, we all go through this. But what I'm suggesting is that what if we could just put our worth aside? And what if we just went after what we wanted? And just did it because it excited us. So that's what I want to talk a little bit about today, because I think we would get so much further along. I think we would take so much more action and get what we wanted if we just got out of our own way, right? Because I really believe that we are our own worst enemy. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Nikki Ganjemi, and I help oh my God, I help online coaches shift their identity to thriving entrepreneur so they can make more money and impact doing what they love. And a lot of what I talk about is your mindset, because for me, hands down, I feel that mindset is everything. And if we can get into a better frame of mind before we take action on the things that we want, we would just have more success. You know, and I really do believe that. So what's this voice? Like, do you ever wonder what you could accomplish? Like, how much further along, whether it's in your business or in anything, even relationships, just really this is across the board for everything in life, but how much further along you would be if you just acted on your inspired ideas. And when that little voice creeps up, which it does, and it always tends to come up, we have that inner critic. And when that inner critic just came up with the same old questions, like, who are you to do this? Am I enough? What if I fail? And sometimes there's a fear there, what if I succeed? Because believe it or not, success can be scary to some people. I know it's not something that we often think about, but deep down, sometimes we think, well, you know, will I be accepted by, you know, my family and my friends? if I do better than them? So that's always sometimes like a little story that's in the back of our mind. But have you ever challenged the voice? Did you ever think of that? Like, say to yourself, well, is this true? I mean, is this a fact? You know, I feel like, I apologize for this, whatever's going on here. Do you ever stop and just say to yourself, wait a second, is this really true? You know, what if I am good enough? What if me being good enough has nothing to do with anything? You know, like I said, what if we could just remove that from the equation? I think the problem that most of us have when it comes to being where we want to be in our life or in our business is that we say that we want something, you know, whether it is, you know, we want to make more money or we want to get more clients, but then we have that incessant voice that's always there, you know, that's saying, well, I don't know if you're ready enough, or I don't know if you deserve it, or, you know, it's like the good cop and the bad cop on your shoulder. But what about just questioning, you know, what if I am? You know, what if I am ready? What if I do know enough? And what if I can just take the next step with where I'm at and with what I know? What if I could just follow what feels good? You know, and just see what comes out of it. You know, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it feel so much better if we just followed what felt good and we just believed that we are good enough? Just like how you think of your spouse or how you think of your child, you know, we would never say some of the things that we say to ourselves to our loved ones. You know, just take a moment and just imagine that. Would you ever say to your child or to your best friend or to your spouse, would you ever say, oh, honey, you know, you can't do that. You don't know enough. You're not good enough. Or who do you think you are? Or what are people going to think? You know, you would never say that. And imagine what it would be like if you just could be kinder to yourself. And if you could just speak to yourself the way you would speak to that spouse or that child, you know, how much more motivated would you be to go and act on what excites you? You know, there's times we get excited. Recently, I got excited about writing a book. So I'm announcing it for the first time. I decided that I'm going to write my next book. And the first book that I had written was a children's book. And now I decided to write a book for adults. And it's going to be like a personal development book. It's going to be complete with exercises and activities that you can take action on. So it's going to be something that you can implement. But those same thoughts started popping up because I know that I plan on sharing personal things. You know, I'm going to be sharing some of what I've shared, you know, written in my journal and stories about myself. And so those same thoughts come up, you know, well, what might people think when I share personal stories from my life? You know, so this is always going to come up, but it's like flipping it and imagining your son or your daughter or your best friend came to you and said, you know, I decided to write a book, and what would you say to them? So sometimes if we can just flip it and just speak to ourselves how we would speak to a loved one, it would get us feeling better. It would get us feeling more excited, and we wouldn't have to work against ourselves where we're saying that we want to do something, but at the same time you've got that inner voice saying, coming up with every reason why you shouldn't or why you can't, or how we are so good at arguing for our limitations. You know, I don't remember the guy who said it, but there was a book I was reading, and I think it was Richard Carlson. And he said, when you argue for your limitations, they're yours. You know, so be really mindful of the things that you tell yourself that you can do or that you can't do. And what about looking for evidence for why it could work out, for why you could do something? And I really think that once we flip that script and we start looking for all the reasons that we can and how it is working out for us, we slowly start to believe in ourselves a little bit more. And then we take an action step. You know, we just move a little bit further along the path, but start believing in yourself. And it really has nothing to do with whether you deserve to do this thing, you know, whether it is to, you know, put out a new program or write the book or get booked on a stage speaking or, you know, get new clients or make X amount of dollars. You're deserving it, and your worth has nothing to do with it. It's just a story that we tell ourselves. And it's something that I've been thinking about recently, because like I said, I've been questioning, you know, am I ready to do this? Am I ready to write this next book and put it out there? And it's just like, oh, that old story again? There I go again. So just know and just acknowledge it's something that we normally do. We just naturally do it, and it's almost like something we just learned to do it over the years, to always feel like, do I deserve something? Did I earn it? And I feel that partly it comes from in school. You know, we're rewarded for something after we finished a test or after we completed something. You know, we were given the sticker or given the marbles. You know, it's just, even at home, you know, you got paid after you did your chores. It's like we always had to do something in order to earn what we wanted. And it's almost like I said, it was something that we learned, and we just kept living that model. But we don't have to, because we could just do something because we want to. And whether we deserve it or not, that has absolutely nothing to do with it. And just giving yourself permission that you don't have to earn anything. It's not whether you deserve something or not. It just, for me anyway, it just takes off the weight. You know, it's like, oh, okay, I don't have to worry about that. I could just focus on what I want and just do it. And as I'm thinking about this, it's like, how much further along would you be? How much more would you accomplish if it was just about the next action in front of you? You know, and you had nothing to do with it. So consider that for today. And like I said, I really would love it for everybody to just start treating yourself a little more kindly and being aware of that internal dialogue, that voice that's constantly talking in our head, being mindful of what it's saying, and then always thinking, is this something that I would say to my best friend? Is this something I would say to my child? And if it isn't, then turn it around and say something nicer. And when you do, you're going to feel a whole lot better. And when you feel better, that's where you can relax. Your mind relaxes. It becomes more open to ideas. You become more creative. And like I said, you're more motivated to then take that next action, and you will be inspired. So have a beautiful day, everybody. Happy Monday to you, and I will see you again on Thursday. Bye for now.